Positive. Let's talk about positive always. So the work on this project began sometime around December, where we came on like our manager Ayushman got Lost Stories on board for this Coke project, the secret Coke project that he called it, as curators. So we were basically supposed to gather musicians from around the world and make this grand record where Arman and like a K-pop artist and Allu Arjun and everyone is featured. So we were never meant to be the main producers of the song or the composers of the song. If you heard like any of the five to ten Lost Stories track, like the past Lost Stories tracks, then you would know that we don't like to stick to one particular genre. Just because like there are like you won't find more than like two songs or three songs that sound similar. Otherwise, a lot of artists have a sound. We try to believe that we don't, so that we can keep experimenting.
Hi, you guys. My name is Dishya, and I'm from News 18 Showsha. Today, we have with us Rishab from the Lost Stories duo. Hi, Rishab. How are you doing today?
Hi guys, hi everyone. Thank you for having me on the show.
Rishab, I want to start off by saying that, I came across Lost Stories 3 years ago when
That's
someone recommended me Bombay Dreams. And then I dived into the whole, whole into it, and there's no stopping since. I've known y'all by mostly by your music. And I love that last month was very busy for y'all. Y'all had so many releases back to back. So can you tell us how
yeah.
has September been for y'all?
So most of September, the fruits of September that we saw, the work started like December onwards. We had um, a remix for upcoming artist from Delhi. His name is Jaideer. We had another song with Jaideer called Mirza, which was a part of the 1 minute music campaign that we did with Instagram, and that also blew up. And then talking of blowing up, there was Memo Agamu, which was a collaboration with Arman and Allu Arjun, Tribe, and yeah, that was another thing. And we are celebrating 6 months of our EP, Notes on Therapy, that we wrote sometime during the lockdown. There's plenty of stuff happening. Apart from this, shows are happening. The academy is in full swing. So yeah, it's pretty hectic.
So, your EP that was released in March this year has been very different from your
Yeah,
recent work. So, how did you
yeah,
I'm assuming you all did most of that work during the lockdown, and then dived
yeah.
into the newer music. So, how was that transition for you?
I mean, lockdown was a different zone for a lot of people, and same with us. Prayag and I have been touring constantly since the last 15 years without any breaks. So obviously there was like a looming burnout on our heads, and um, luckily, or I mean, unfortunately, the lockdown came in at the right time, and we got a lot of time to reflect on what was actually happening and what kind of music we are writing and why we are doing that music. We had a lot of time to think in favor of our mental health, and like otherwise, it's just like catching another flight, doing another show, doing another song, without actually, just being on autopilot. So this lockdown time gave us a lot of insight into are we actually doing music because we love music, or we just chasing numbers, or like the deeper questions. So we reached out to a lot of people who connected with the same thought. Kashyap was one of them. He's I think a 20-year-old guy from Hyderabad. He has a voice of this international star. Like nobody believed that he's an Indian when everyone first heard his voice.
It's just 20. He's like his
I
voice
think I
is,
think it's around 2021. Yeah, his voice sounds so mature, and he's
yeah.
like he's one of the most talented musicians I've ever come across. Yash Raj, he's again like he's a um standard part of Lost Stories music, because every time I write a song, I only think of like, okay, who can come on this, and why is it Yash Raj? So that's Yash Raj. And Spitfire. Again, I first met him during the Gully Boy party that happened in Bombay when Gully Boy came out, and I had done a flip of his song, the Apna Time Aayega, and that flip just went viral, and then that's how we connected. And then when I told him about this EP, he wrote the intro for it, like, and that gave me like goosebumps. So yeah, that EP was a labor of love, and we had like such an amazing artwork that went along with the theme of the EP, and we had such beautiful music videos. So again, that that EP is very, very close to our hearts, and like we are just celebrating like 6 months of this EP. That message still holds very strong in our hearts, and yeah, I just hope it resonates with the audience.
And it does resonate with me even today. I remember hearing it in March, and I there's like few songs that I still have it in my playlist, and I keep going back to your songs.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have to talk about Nemo Agama. The song
Yeah,
is, I was taken by surprise when they announced the song, and I was like,
that was the point. Yeah.
three of my favorite people were on that song. So can you tell us how did that happen?
So the work on this project began sometime around December, where we came on like our manager Ayushman got Lost Stories on board for this Coke project, the secret Coke project that he called it, as curators. So we were basically supposed to gather musicians from around the world and make this grand record where Arman and like a K-pop artist and Allu Arjun and everyone is featured. So we were never meant to be the main producers of the song or the composers of the song. But literally every month I kept telling, like every month that passed by, I kept telling Prayag, my partner, that we should be composing this, we should be writing this song because it's like something that we can do at the, even on our sleep because we had understood the brief so well and it was meant to be. So um I don't know, the stars aligned and like Ayushman called us one day saying that uh would you like to compose and produce a song? So you're like, yeah, I mean, like I guess like that's not even a question. And then within a week, uh, everything, composition, lyrics, mix, master, everything was done within a week, and it's quite a stressful week. But then, I mean, like we'll be telling stories about this week from here on because it was such a fulfilling time. Everything just working out. So yeah, amazing, amazing week that we had.
Did you get a chance to meet Allu Arjun and Tribe?
Uh, the thing is, while they were shooting, I was working on the song out here. So they were shooting the thing in Thailand. So I unfortunately didn't get a chance. But like Ayushman relayed a message saying that Allu loves the song and he loves what we did with it in such a short period of time. So yeah, I mean, we are like grateful to Allu and the Coke team for like promoting our music and like putting it out there. So yeah, really happy.
He seemed to have had a ball. Like that music video doesn't look like he's just performing. It's like he's just taken on the whole vibe of it and he's just on his own.
Exactly, and he did his own choreography, and he did like a bunch of things along with uh, the choreography from Rajit Dev sir, who did a bunch of famous songs. So he added his own bits of choreography, and like I mean, he's a star. Like this is the first time we ever working with him. Hopefully, not the last. So yeah.
Uh, Before this, did were you into K-pop music? Did you get a chance to listen to any kind of music from there?
Yeah, I was introduced to the genre K-pop like maybe 4 years ago, 4 to 5 years ago, I would say, and that time I feel it was a bit more raw. It was heavily inspired from EDM and trap, and that was the kind of music I was doing back then as Lost Stories with Prayag. So I was like, wow, like this seems like a very rich version, like the harmonically, like the chords are so rich and it felt like EDM just got freedom from like the shackles that it had put on itself. The rule book was like thrown into the dustbin and like K-pop was just like a freedom from the rules in a way. So Blackpink, EXO, Red Velvet, even Twice, Everglow, all these artists, like since 5 years we've been following and also try to like replicate what they do in like our music. So yeah, the big fan of the genre.
If given a chance, is there any particular K-pop band that you think that your music syncs with and you want to collaborate with?
I would love to write music with Eric Nam. He's I feel he's like one of the true uh he's broken into like so many scenes simultaneously, and his voice is so close to like the authentic pop voice, and like he did a song with a friend Arman called Echo, And that song, his verse, it was so. I mean, after I heard that, I told Ayushman like maybe in the future I would love to work with Eric. So yeah,
He's been teasing about his trip to India, and all of us are like, fingers crossed,
I know.
please come.
Yeah, we were in touch with him regarding another project, and like we did a Zoom call, and like he's like, I can't wait to come to India. So yeah, I hope like it all works out.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Besides your
Yeah,
musical work, I also noticed that you all recently held a workshop
yeah,
for one of your songs, and I found
yeah.
that was very unique. So, could you tell us a
Yeah.
little about that?
So we keep doing these workshops a lot since we have an academy where we teach people how to make music, how to DJ, how to perform. We teach music business. So we keep having these master classes from time to time. This one we are doing after a long time because all of us are busy with like either traveling or like making music. So this masterclass was done with a very close friend of ours, Karan Kanchan, who is a producer for Divine and a lot of other rap artists, even Ritwiz he's worked with. So he invited us to do this before his show at Antisocial, and we picked Rue because it kind of it's one of our most complex projects ever. We made it with our close friend Sumanshu. We made it with Nikita Gandhi, Yashraj, and there was a lot of story to it because we were working on that song for like almost a year, and like a lot of back and forth happened, and so we just wanted to put that story out that this is how we made it. And we weren't really expecting like a lot of people to turn up, but then everyone came. It was like a very close community of producers who are so passionate about like how music is made and all. So a lot of questions from the crowd. It was a very interactive session. So yeah, I'm really happy that, and we'll be doing more of these now in the future, now that we know that people really want to know how we make our songs. So
You mentioned the academy. That's the Lost Stories Academy you
yeah,
were talking about, right? So a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people don't really know that, y'all have been y'all have established the academy from 2015. And,
yeah,
like only people who are very close to the genre might be aware of
yeah.
it. So if you could help people who are not familiar with the genre to get to understand what it is, could you help us with that information?
The academy is nothing to do with just dance music. It's just like music in general because we like I said, we launched the physical academy now like in 2015. Before that, we were just starting out of a garage. Like we had a small garage, and then there were like few students. Like it was a proper struggle story, and like the students would come all the way from like like far off places just to learn music. There was quite a uh, like you could see the passion where we had to teach and like the students had to learn. And from that point we upgraded to another bigger place, and now just a month ago we got another floor at the same building. And now so we are expanding, and now we have online um website where we teach people how to make music, because during lockdown, as you know, like physically it was not possible to like get students down and teach them how to make music and stuff. So we have an online platform now. So um uh, genre wise, I guess like there's never been a discussion at the academy about like, oh, this is dance music, and it's just been about like um we teach them the rules just so that they can break them effectively, and then they can go ahead and make the kind of music that they want to make. So yeah.
That's very informative. I genuinely thought that it was only related to dance music and people who are interested in that side of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
style.
at these days, dance music is penetrating literally every other subgenre, in a way. So, Bollywood, like K-pop, and everywhere, So, I guess under the larger umbrella, like you can like categorize it as dance music, but otherwise, like we just get the basics across and stuff, and then the students are free to make the kind of music that they want to make. Why pigeonhole them into just making dance music? So,
Makes sense. So, you've been in the industry for almost over a decade right now,
yeah,
and 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 I remember when the idea of dance music or EDM or the concept of DJing in India was
yeah,
still, limited to, okay, you know what, शादी में DJ कर लो, like, or
yeah,
the this thing that चलो 2-3 घंटे clubs में DJing कर लो. You have seen
yeah,
it rise to where now people are taking it seriously and taking it as a
Yeah.
full-time gig. So, do you see any kind of drawbacks that still holds the industry back? And what kind of positive changes do you think the industry needs right now?
Positive. Let's talk about positive always. I think access to music has become so simple now. Earlier it used to take like, a music label and like a professional studio. I mean, if you wanted to make a song, like maybe in the 90s, it would cost you like $10,000 to like, make a song. But these days you can just, we have a student back at the academy who makes things on his phone and like it's release ready music. So these days you don't like the access to making music, the access to the tools, and the access that audience has to an artist's music has become way simpler. Like you can just go Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever, and like just support your favorite artist. Uh, Drawbacks, obviously, everything that blows up has like multitudes of drawbacks under the hood. I feel like the performance industry in India is a little behind. I mean, if you compare it to like international shows, like even the biggest artists in India, if you go to the backstage and you see the workings under the hood, you still know it's like it's the job is not well done, so it's like a makeshift job. So having traveled for international festivals, having played at so many international festivals, like we can see that there's a big room for improvement when it comes to like the live performance industry. We don't see a lot of high value productions here in India, even if it's like the biggest artist. So I feel we have a long way to go when it comes to the live scene. But yeah, I think music wise, like people are trying their best to put out the best kind of music there is, cutting through the noise and rising on the top of the charts. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
One of the accesses that I have noticed for music and for the reach is social media. Like the amount of music I have come across via, say, an Instagram reel or a TikTok video. I
Yeah,
mean, when TikTok was there, uh, do you think that while these platforms are giving that kind of space to for more music to reach out, there's also a
yeah,
drawback that they are getting lost somewhere just on social media, and with
I
people
think
twisting
so.
and turning it in their own ways, and the lo-fis and all of those.
I think so. I mean, like, look, I feel we are in the middle of a giant experiment right now. Nobody knows what the end goal is. And a lot of tech is being thrown at us right now. And all of us are trying to make the best use of it. Having, like, a strong management, we always get access to the tools earlier than, like, a lot of other people. So we try to see, like, how we can. I mean, ultimately, the goal is to market your music better, to make it reach the right people. You know, I understand that there are a lot of people who, like you said, maybe try and make their own interpretation of a particular song and like, try to. But I guess for me, that's still music. It doesn't matter. I feel there's a right audience for every kind of music. There's rise of cringe pop. Like there is still audience for it. I mean, if it wasn't, then those people wouldn't be famous. So again, we don't try to relate like good music to numbers at all, because we all know that numbers are like just one of the vanity metrics that the bigger companies use to drive in more money, more whatever. So to us, the numbers don't matter. Like we'd be listening to like somebody with 300 monthly listeners on Spotify, and still like that'll be good music. So honestly speaking, like nobody's actually, I feel like we haven't figured out what the end game of the whole experiment right now is. We're just going with the flow. I'm personally trying to limit my social media usage and trying to uh, not let it use me, but like we just using it as a tool to market our music. So for us, that's that.
uh,
Yeah,
I wanted to ask is that you have had like lost stories is known internationally as well, but are you all in
yeah.
the coming future coming like having a lot more international collaborations, mostly towards the west?
So our new strategy right now is obviously to like divide. If you heard like any of the five to ten Lost Stories track, like the past Lost Stories tracks, then you would know that we don't like to stick to one particular genre. Just because like there are like you won't find more than like two songs or three songs that sound similar. Otherwise, a lot of artists have a sound. We try to believe that we don't, so that we can keep experimenting. So now we are trying to strategize it in such a way that we have, maybe like if we are making 10 songs a year, then we make 5 songs for the international market and 5 songs for the Indian market. Uh, just because whenever we play like an international festival, we do realize that it's usually like the audience that comes to your set is only there because they've heard some song of yours. So I can imagine for an international audience to listen to the desi music that we make, maybe a Memo Agamu and stuff. It's difficult because there's no connect because that music was never promoted to them. So we come from like our career was like it started internationally first, and then we like ventured into making music here in India. I feel like we need to achieve like a balance where we make music for the international radio as well, and we make music for India as well. So yeah, there's definitely like a lot of stuff, a lot of remixes that we are planning to do for international artists, a lot of original music, and a lot of collaborations with like visual artists and stuff. So there's definitely a lot in the pipeline.
Anything that we can expect anytime soon?
Um, I have no idea what to tell you because there's just so much happening. Like I don't know, but yeah, we have this new track coming up with Sona Mohapatra. We've always wanted to work with her, and the opportunity finally came in somewhere around like December, where she sent us a vocal, and we spent like 20 minutes on making one drop. She loved it, and then like that became the song. So it's again one of our most unique songs. I don't think a product like that exists in the market, and that's always our aim. To even if you heard Rue, everyone who's heard Rue, they're like, "Oh, a product like this doesn't exist," because literally everyone is just trying to copy the same sound, trying to hold on to a template just because it works. But here we do things differently, and even this song, it's a mix of drum and bass with a thumri vocal, sung in Bhairavi. So it's a unique product. We have an amazing visual artist who's done the artwork for it, and it's like a trip. Like you just keep looking at it and you'll find new things every second. So again, it's a product of pure love, and it's coming out hopefully next month, I think, and very very excited for it.
Honestly, if someone would have told me that Lost Stories and Sona are going to collaborate even like 3 months ago, I'd be like, no, I don't think that's a combination that
Yeah,
would have ever come to my
like
mind. But oh my God,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, even we like the first time she sent us a vocal, we're like, can we do something with this? And then the answer is always yes, because there's always something that you can do with a vocal that great. So I'm like we are really happy the way it's turned out, and we are just so excited to like put it out.
I'm so looking forward to it. I love Sona's voice. It's so
Same.
beautiful. And I love you guys.
Yeah.
And I like what a deadly combination this is gonna be.
Thank you. It'll be epic.
I'm looking forward to this. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for your time. Thank you so much for all that you've
Thank you
told
for
me.
having us.
And
Thank
looking
you.
forward to a
Thank
lot
you.
more music.
Done. As soon as new music is out, I'll say you'll be the first person to get
I'm so
it.
excited. Thank
Thank you
you,
for having
Rishabh.
us.
Thank you.